Hey, what's going on, guys? Hope you're enjoying your day. My name is Greg Keefe from Morristown, New Jersey with West End Residential, and today I'll be helping you guys study for your real estate class and state test. And hopefully you pass it. Maybe I'll give you a couple more study tactics that you haven't been using, and maybe will be helpful to you. So I hope you guys like my nice little bullet point system. I have a lot of notes. It's going to help me out. So I'm going to go over a couple of fees and that little overview first. So the class is $350 at Weichert Realtors in Morris Plains. That's where I took it. Obviously, I'm not with them, but you don't have to be with them. But and if you fail, you can take it the next day for $65. I would know because I went through that process. So the class test is strictly made up of all the worksheets that your class teacher hands out to you, and the entire test itself is just vocabulary. So you almost don't even need the book for the class. I'm telling you from experience, I almost didn't even use the book. I used the worksheets. Now the state test, you got $45 every single time. I would know. It took me a couple of times, and I'll get into that later. It takes you they give you 4 hours to take the state test. You really won't need that much time. If you're unprepared, it'll take you about 3 hours. If you've kind of got your stuff down pat, it'll take 2 hours. And if you really have your stuff down pat, it's going to take an hour and a half. So it's all the original vocab from the class test, except now put into situations, and now they're going to try and trick you. So you can thank whoever made this test for all that BS right there. The tricking part that really stinks, because they do trick you. You're allowed 33 questions wrong. You have to have 77 correct, and obviously that's 110 questions. So let's get into the in-class work. You must pay attention in class, take notes, ask questions, highlight what your teacher says to highlight. And this is something that I did. I went into all the worksheets. Oh man, all the worksheets. They give you a ridiculous amount of worksheets, just a ton. And all the worksheets that you don't know the vocab on, like you find a word in there that's important because you know it's important, and you will know it's important. If you find a word in there you don't know, make a note card of that word just off of the worksheet. And what I did is I put the chapter 16, number 7, like on the sheet. It tells you like chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. This is just the chapter 16, number 7, page 216. So if you're looking at the card and you look at the back after or you're looking at the capitalization cap rate, if you're looking at that and you turn it over and you get the definition wrong, you're like, damn it, time to go back into page 216 in the book, in the chapter, and find out where you could have gone wrong, maybe find an in-depth definition. So that's just something that I did. Obviously stay organized. This is the at-home work now for the in-class, or at-home work for the state, or for the class test. Sorry, I'm mumbling now. Stay organized with the worksheets that the teacher gives you. You can pass the class test by studying the worksheets and paying attention. What else we got now? We got the state work. Read the entire book. Type in your notes, every line that you don't know enough. And for example, I went in, where is it? Here we are. So every single thing that I read throughout the entire book, let's say I didn't know something, I didn't know one line that I feel like I should have known better or a little bit more, I made a note for every single thing that I didn't know, and it's really long. It just keeps on going. Random text message just keeps on going and going and going and going and going. And why this is relevant is because as soon as I get to the bottom, it's just a lot of stuff I didn't know. And sometimes it's hard to study by yourself, or here, better example. With what I did with all these notes, not only did I study them, but I found out that, hey, look, I'll pay attention to something if I hear my own voice. So I went into the voice memos on your phone. It's right here, voice memos, and I recorded the entire thing. I think it's right here. Hour and 11 minutes. Oh no, hour and 38 minutes. It took me to straight talking. Yeah, granted, you don't really want to do that, but if you're going all in and you want this test to get done, go for it. Do it. I listened to it in the shower, on the way to work out, while I was working out. Just a ton of different ways you can hear all the information while you're multitasking with something else. So that's another cool thing that you could do, is list all your notes and voice memo everything. I got that tip from my uncle when I was struggling to get this thing done. So where else we can go here? Voice memo. So read the summaries of each chapter on a separate day. After you read the entire book, read on a separate day the chapters, just kind of to get everything refreshed in your mind. Give your book to a friend. I gave my book to my mom, and she said, what's this? What's that? Name the definition first. Then, it's a different way of studying that it was harder for me to do when we did it that way. And it made you look at it from a different perspective, and it helps you. So you can try that out. Give your book to your mom. Give your book to a friend. and have them read stuff off of you. So for the math stuff, I hate math. I'm good at math, but all the other types of math, that real estate math, it's different, it's hard. And I basically just didn't even look at any of the formulas. But something that did make me feel comfortable, even though I didn't even look at it, somebody that was telling me, like, look, I think it was my uncle, he said, the math, it's a formula. Somebody else in this class is going to get it right. It's not like it's impossible. There's literally a formula for it. Take the time to figure it out, and it'll be worth it. And the math, did end up giving me a little bit of trouble, but, I ended up passing anyways. So now we're on to the performance. We're taking the test itself. Read each question twice. As you go through the test, tally mark all the ones you feel you got wrong. It'll allow you to gauge how many you can get wrong. And this is really big for me. The final time that I took it, because I took the state test 7 times. Yeah, took a lot of times. But, I just told myself, don't give up. Eventually I'm going to get this thing done. So I tally marked on the last one just randomly. I'm like, you know what? I know I'm allowed to get 33 wrong. I feel like I'm doing pretty well. So let's go through this is after I finished the entire test. Yeah, did I put this in here? Yeah, after you complete the entire test, with the time that you have left, go back through every single question. I finished, I had like an hour and a half left. Or 2 hours and a half? I don't even remember. I just had a lot of time left, so I went through the very beginning, and I was like, let's go through this question, let's go. People tell you all the time, don't change any of your answers. But I felt like, I feel like I can get more right. I just don't feel like I got all of them right, so let's go back for the first time. And I went through, all right, I feel like I got that one right. Oh, I feel like that one might be iffy. Let's tally mark that one down. I got all the way up to I think it was 34 or 35 tally marks that I was kind of iffy on. So by the end of it, obviously I passed. But it allows you to gauge how many you feel like. It makes you take less risks with the guessing. Makes you rethink the ones that you may or may not have gotten wrong. And you go back and you look at those. I ended up changing 8 answers when I took it. And it played out. Because when I went back and looked at those answers that I had done the first time around, when you have a second look at it, you kind of can get a look from a different perspective. 8 of them, I was like, what the hell? Why did that's clearly not the right answer. What the hell am I doing? And I put that, and I guarantee that's the reason as to why I passed. Because every single time prior, I wasn't going through and I wasn't looking at it. It helped me so much, I know it. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so now we're on the failed question mark. Okay. So we're going to have to actually do this afterwards. I'll do it now. So I want to show you guys something. Alright, so this is actually how many times I passed, or I failed actually, here we go. Failure, 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 and then we got a failure. But, it's funny, I put never give up, you can do it. Something to remind myself of when I'm in real estate and, struggling, just, it's a process, and you have to fall in love with the process, and you get the point. Yeah, so anyways, this is how many times I failed, that stinks, but I want to put this back up here for a second. Alright, put this back. There we go. The reason why I showed you that is because when you fail, it'll give you all the categories that you got wrong, how many you got wrong in that category, but they won't tell you the specific question. So that really stinks when you go back to the state test. And by the way, when the state test doesn't ever stay the same, it's always a different test. So what I wanted to show you with that is that I actually wrote down, these are all the categories that are on those pieces of paper. Has property ownership, land use controls and regulations, valuation and market analysis, financing. And what I did was, my uncle, he was helping me study, he was helping me try to pass it, and he said, divide all the numbers into the total number and show the percentage of how much you actually know or how much you don't know. So it's I knew 28% of the questions of property ownership. That was terrible. Time to study there. Land use controls and regulations, 40%. Still need to study that. Valuation and market analysis, 50%. Still need to study. Financing, 66%. I think I know that one pretty well. Time to focus more of my energy on the ones that I don't know. And there's obviously 100% down here, but I'm showing you ones that I didn't get right. So that's one thing with the percentages, that you can calculate that out to see how much you know or how much you don't know. So study the specific categories. You can take the specific categories, transfer of title, practice of real estate calculations, specialty areas, duties and powers, licensing requirements. You can go into those specific sections of the book. And what I didn't actually know when I was struggling to find them is that you can actually take, look, the transfer of title is right here on in the table of contents. I tried finding these specific categories. It took like an extra 20 minutes to find every single one. It's literally in the table of contents. So you can literally just, the categories that they give you in the table of contents, just go through this first couple pages of the book and you'll find the categories that you need to study after you did the percentages and stuff. Oh, right. So there's actually something called CompuCram that people try to sell you that, you know, is supposed to help you. And I looked through it and I have it. I have the password still. Obviously, it's $35 and it's supposed to help you. Except there's like questions on it that are wrong, right? So this isn't. This I'm not going to promote it simply because it didn't help me. But there's something called CompuCram. It's like an extra study guide online. It's literally all the stuff that's already in your book. And just, it gives you a different perspective, a different study outlook on, you know, the information. But you really don't need it, because I looked at it, I said, this is a bunch of BS, and I just wasted $35 pretty much because all this stuff is already in the book. Let me just toss this to the right. The only reason why I mentioned it is because I bought it, and maybe to help you guys out, like, it's really nothing special. So, yeah, I already told you, every time you fail, the test changes, so that stinks. But we're on the last thing here, right? Yeah, the test is a test within itself. So the reason being I put that is because I failed 6 times. Yeah, I failed 6 times. I passed the 7th. And it really is just like a big test of how much adversity that you can handle. Because when you fail once or twice, the first couple, realistically, if I really studied from the very beginning the way I was supposed to study, all this stuff that I just told you about, I could have passed probably in the second time. I'd say the second time I'd have it down pat. Yeah, no need for 7. When you have the right study materials and you have the right process, all the stuff that I've mentioned, there's no way that you can fail. There's just no way. So it's a test of how much adversity that you can handle when you fail a lot. And I literally just saw it as a big opportunity to kind of tell people about my success story down the line. Oh, top realtor in New Jersey, most well-known realtor on YouTube, most well-known guy out there, most successful out there, yet he failed the test 7 times. If he had given up, what would have happened? Where would he be? You know, so I see it as that, and you guys need to see it as that as well. Like, you know, just fall in love with the process, because all you got coming is the process. But anyways, that's literally the entire video. Overview, classwork, state work, taking the test, failed. The test is a test within itself. If you guys like this video, if it helped you at all, if you see something that you haven't seen before, like the video and subscribe, because I've got plenty of information coming up. And as the things I said before, top realtor in New Jersey, I've got goals. I've got big goals, and I have a lot of information I need to share with you guys that are going to be more like daily activities. I want to start a vlog. I want to do a lot of stuff, but I have a lot of stuff that you're going to want to stay tuned for. So with that said, guys, take care. Have a great day.